Hi everyone, in this video, we'll explore blending effects, a very important feature in the pattern engine script. They allow you to create complex and composite patterns that are not possible to achieve with a single effect. Blending effects give you a high degree of control over the pattern. Let's look at some examples. For instance, here we have a shape effect blended with a gradient effect. In this example, an expression effect is blended with a gradient effect. Here, a random effect is combined with a shape effect. And finally, an expression effect with a random effect. Let's start with this first example and try to recreate it together. First, we'll adjust the X and Y counts. Then, we'll work on the concave. Now, I want to apply a random effect to only some of the rows, not all of them. As you can see, one row has the random effect applied, while the next one doesn't. So, how do we achieve this? First, we'll add a random effect to the visibility property. This creates a standard random effect. Next, we will add an expression effect. We'll focus on the y-axis, setting the y mask to 1 and the y expression to 1, 0. We can also increase the y count. Now, let's experiment with different blending modes to see the results. Multiply isn't what we're looking for. Let's try screen. Perfect. Screen gives us the exact result we want. You can also adjust the seed, which will change the locations of the random effect. It's also possible to go back to the random effects settings to increase or decrease its influence. That concludes our first example. The second example follows the same core idea. But this time we will replace the expression effect with a shape effect. We'll add a shape effect and set the blending mode to screen. We can invert the effect, increase the size of the shape, and change the random seed. Now the random effect's influence is contained within the boundaries of the shape we are using. In this next example, we will blend an expression effect with a gradient effect. Let's try it out. We can start by picking the existing settings. Here, the effect is modifying the slope value. Let's delete the current effects and build this from scratch. The initial slope value is 5 centimeters. We will add a gradient effect. Set its type to vertical. Adjust the range from 0 to 100 and then invert it. Now, our goal is to affect only alternating columns. One column will be affected and the next will be skipped. To do this, we'll add an expression effect, and for the X expression, we will write 100, 0. Then we'll choose the multiply blending mode. As you can see, the pattern has changed just as we wanted. Of course, you have full control over the expression. For example, you could skip 2 columns or even 3 to modify the area of influence. It's very straightforward. In our final example, we will see how to blend a shape effect with a gradient. Let's begin. We will delete the expression effect and add a shape effect instead. Notice how the area of influence is now confined within the shape's boundaries. We can increase the length, change the minimum and maximum values, and invert the effect. By setting the blending mode to multiply, the effect adjusts accordingly. You can also move the shape freely using the offset parameters. For example, we can move it 20 centimeters to the right or 50 centimeters along the y-axis. This gives you a great deal of control over the effect's area. In this video, we have covered several examples of blending effects. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.